Well, so you want to buy a Ford GT, and why not? There's an absolute plethora of them available on the market from various manufacturers, and today we're just going to look at a few of them, and to help you make the best buying decision as possible that fits within your budget and within your expectations. Now, companies like IXO make these throwback versions that you see right here. And if you're interested in this car, I have a complete video. Just check it out on my playlist of Ford GTs. And then there are other non-traditional liveries like this Motorcraft Ford GT made by TSM, which I also have a video on as well to go ahead and check out. And if you're interested in a more traditional Ford GT, you've got all of these to choose from. Makers such as Bburago, Mini GT themselves, IXO, and TSM. So, which do you choose, and what are the advantages of one over the other? Well, let me first take a look at this 132 scale model from the folks at Bburago. Guys, for $25, you get a pretty good model. That's large, comes with a base and a jewel case, is colorful, is accurate, but lacks a significant amount of detail. You know, folks, it's a Bburago, and Bburago are considered to be your value cars that you get. And for $25, this one was a heck of a value. Now, it lacks a lot of significant detail like accurate radiators. You see on the front here, fiber trim parts. One thing they did do right is they got the windshield banner correct with the blue strip along the top of it. Whoops, sorry about it. You can see right there. But they didn't provide you with blue mirrors to match it. All in all, a pretty good car for the value. Folks, and then come your 143 scale models that you had to choose from. This one is from the company called True Scale Miniatures, or TSM. Comes with a gorgeous marble base, a plastic jewel cover, and a box. Now, if you want the best that probably any manufacturer, maybe except Spark, has to offer in a Ford GT and 143 scale, it would be this one from the folks at TSM. This is a 2016 Ford GT, the number 67. This was the first year that these great cars came out, and sadly, as you know, they only lasted 3 years before Ford discontinued the program. But here you have an absolutely spectacular model that is rich in every detail that the Bburago that I showed you lacked, including, and you take a close look in there, you can see the nicely done radiators, you see the pitot tube on the nose of the car, the tow hook, really nice looking carbon fiber trim around. They got the blue windshield banner strip correct, and guess what? Hey, they had the mirrors to match. If you take a look at the mirrors, you can closely see the carbon fiber trim around that as well. A look at the rear of the car shows that nice carbon fiber diffuser that you have on it. The taillight's beautifully done. The exhaust vents you'll note on the side of the car are out there. It's not mistakenly the things you see in the back, which a lot of people think they are. And you have a great collection of aerials, and altogether a beautifully done and a nicely sculpted model. You can't do better than this. And then, folks, there is the IXO. If you take a look and do like a word search for Ford GTs on eBay, you're probably going to come with more IXO models than any other single one, unless you specifically search for something like a Spark. These are affordable. They generally run between $35 and $50. They're nicely packaged. For the most part, they're well done, but there's one significant flaw with this car, and we'll talk to that point as well. So what do they do right? They provide a good-looking car, for the most part very well done. On a nice plastic base, it's got a jewel cover. You have details such as pitot tubes and tow hooks, even though I think the tow hook, quite frankly, is a little overdone. You have a nice selection of aerials, but like the Bburago model, it lacks significant detail. Take a look at the radiators here, for example. You can see the poor paint job that you have there, as well as just a black hole for a radiator. There's virtually no carbon fiber trim on it, just cheap black plastic. You have paint issues, as you can see the EcoBoost here, missing the O. Then if you take a close look at the back and some of the seams of this where they put the car together, and there are huge gaps I mean, it's just really, really poor work. But again, it is somewhat of a budget model. But that is not this car's biggest flaw. The biggest flaw, and if you've seen my other videos about some of these models, is the fact that the casting is absolutely terrible. I want you to take a look at this and let it kind of sink in your mind here. Just take a look. And if you put it into perspective, it's fat. It's short. Take a look at the front end of it. It's not low and sleek. Folks, it's just a terrible casting. Well, there's a look at the TSM Ford GT. Take a look at the front end of that. Low, sleek, gorgeous. The front end of the TSM, fat. Take a look at Ford and EcoBoost and how the entire decal fits along the driver's door latch. Take a look at the ISO. It runs all the way into the flying buttresses. Guys, the fact is, it's just a short, fat model. It is probably the worst casting, and I guess I've got almost 300 models in my collection. If there's one that I could point out that is absolutely the worst, and the one that I would recommend you definitely do not buy, it would be an IXO modern Ford GT, because it's just a terrible casting. Now, if you can't afford a model like the Spark or the TSM, and these can be pricey, even though I'll let you know I picked this one up for 50 bucks. On the other hand, I got the IXO for $35, and I wish I'd never even spent 35 bucks on it because it is just such a crappy model. And I hope by looking at these two, you can see why. And now, folks, we get to the 1/64 scale models from Mini GT. And folks, I don't know if any of you had an opportunity to get this set. If it's even available on eBay. I'm sure it probably is. They're always secondary sellers. But this was a set that offered you all four of the cars that participated in the 2016 24 Hours of Le Mans, and basically took a 1, 2, 3 sweep of the podium along with the fourth car, which I think might have been 6, 7, 3. I'm not exactly sure what place took. Anyhow, this is a really nice set that offered you all four of those cars. You can also buy the Ford GT individually, like you see right there. Now, the advantages of the Ford GT are that they're affordable, and they're pretty good representations in 1/64 scale. For the most part, they are very, very well done. They're made by TSM, the company that makes the Ford GT I showed you earlier that I absolutely rave about. But there is one significant flaw with this set, and it's not immediately noticeable. But I'll point out in case you haven't noticed already. This is the 69 car, and it has the yellow strip on the banner to help identify it from the other cars that look just like it. More importantly, it should have yellow mirrors, which are far more noticeable from a distance. But Mini GT kind of went the cheap route, and instead of putting yellow mirrors on it, they put black. Here's a 68 car. Notice the red windshield banner, but a lack of red mirrors. Then there's the ever popular 67 model that you have seen, from virtually all of us. Again, nice blue strip on the windshield banner, but no blue mirrors. And finally, there's a 66 model that, as you can see, comes with a green windshield banner, but again, no green mirrors. Now, if that doesn't bother you, this is a great collection to have. And in 1/64 scale, quite frankly, you're somewhat limited. Mini GT is about the only player in town. They do make a good model. It's just for such a nice set, and a set that included 4 unique models. It would have been really nice if they had gone to a little bit more trouble and colored the mirrors to match the windshield banners on the car. Well, folks, that wraps it up. If you're thinking about buying a Ford GT in 1/64 scale, 143, or 132, choose whatever one fits your budget and works for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thanks for watching.